On the back of the lifting of the restrictions on the transport sector, the COVID-19 restrictions on the transport sector by the president, a meeting was convened between the various operators in the transport sector and the transport ministry to deliberate on the reduction or otherwise of transport fares. That meeting has come to a conclusion, and so on this edition of the Citi Newsroom, we want to find out the outcome of that particular meeting. Now remember that transport fares went up by 15% because of the social distancing in the various commercial vehicles. And so we're going to start off from the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, and we have the vice chairman of the union here with that, Mr. Robert Saba. Mr. Saba, tell us, how did the meeting end?
Well, it ended so successfully due to, some level of understanding. We felt we should also reduce the transport fare, and we reduce it by 10% of the 11th July increment that we made. It was 15%, and now it is 5% for the transport fare. And this will take effect from 1st August.
So, to be clear, the reduction is on the initial 15% increment.
That is so, the initial 15% increment.
What were some of the arguments you made for you to get to this 5%?
Oh, well, we said during the period of right from March 15th, when this social distancing came, we've incurred so much losses, and we felt that we should be given certain percentage to ensure that we are able to recoup some of our losses.
Some said they were going to increase by 30%. Exactly. So what happens to this?
Well, maybe they have their target group. I am speaking for the GPRTU. You see, it is not GPRTU alone that went to the meeting. We went there with state transport, Metro Mass, VIP, Protea Cooperative, JRTCC, and GPRTU. We went to the meeting. So this directive is geared towards our members.
Mr. Saba, earlier we heard talk of a task force to monitor the implementation of the earlier increment. This task force, what will be the compensation, and then how do we monitor their work?
Oh, a monitoring team has been formed. They will go around to check those who flout the directives. It is made up of all the transport unions.
Thank you very much, Robert Saba, Vice Chairman of the GPRTU. Stay with us on the Citi Newsroom as we hit the streets to find out how this particular reduction in transport fares has been received by the various players in the transport sector. The computation has already been done, and so effective Saturday, August 1, 2020, these are the fares that will be applicable for intra-city, what we refer to as the trotros, and then also there's that of intercity, what has been or is commonly referred to as the long distance transport or vehicles. And so that tabulation has also been done, and we understand that these fares will be distributed to all commercial vehicle drivers, who in turn would display them in their vehicles to avert any confrontations with passengers. So at Circle, which is one of the busiest hubs in the capital, a number of drivers gathered here. We want to throw this information to them and find out what they think.
Mama say ya to fair no but this area na to so na o just say ya blue ka so about ka so ya blessa is there ya go 44 na here but friend there out to more mama ti you so to fair no man
yo every Saturday ekoyi na just fair no ye teso aba fair wo adwenkyere won say
fair no mo ti amwaye say mboye say it's a fool and what to fool anymore. The could be a Jessica. There were any one, but you see, how could be one Jessica? we never got scalo odi masem o so nya masem but na mache be 4 o'clock ana be duma upon 20 Ghana me go fie me so mo ne ma e say ne ma 20 et me show mo et mo to for sidia na mo to for no so mo to for sidia ana fe de be so mo to sidia yes et me to man dey
panyimfo ni aban na akohia e na so mete
o mo ka vi che ye ti hwa ha asa sam o ya ti bi a aka fa ne ba no say o mo na so che we ba o na so we ba ye ti hwe.
Let's talk to some more drivers and then find out what they also make of it. Fair na, you better so. I am memene there be. You better so 10%. Who ne say?
Adwuma no ya ko tretre no. Adwuma no ase nipa no ya chechiro ma to obi amba. Cause ni e 22 no kra no na mfi say. Na eye. Opon awunya kakra. But fi nura to ndẹ no there. Adwuma na changes bebre.
O ha den ti na abasa. Nipa abohu ana.
Em say nipa na abohu 33 na obetena no. Osuro ane wa mba kuroma onkofa yare bia nkofie. So what you say? Aha, ntino nipa no bebre abohu.
Unya ka mo sanko tutu.
Oh. Say tutu no na bo no begina ba begina na. Nka mfisa nkeye. Because eno no one kawra bi bedi matamum but eno so emaka mre so what you say emaka no ties ni bibia no mre na che ka no weight no nipa na wo no ka no cause wo hwa tretere no nyame anim bo okuta nyema okuta kwala
insurance baby akodu hwefuo na hwe spare parts and aboso kan kota de ne ade be chobeko ni atum yes dollars cost you ready budget they be amutu nyomom 70 pesos on the to lot friend almost any boarding 70 pesos almost any boarding na adentina spare parts insurance almost so and if one almost so near you want to ye come 70 pesos almost any boarding it is hard no more yenye
you are some full capacity it's no what
full capacity ya fane dada ya leni ntina me fa 33 ya fa dada abla mo ye se ye fa no insurance for no month so road to win insurance we kwaye no sika mo je na kosoro so what dey say income tax e produce.
Those were the concerns by drivers not necessarily in agreement with the decrease in transport fares, but let's talk to some passengers and find out what they make of this piece of news. Fares have been reduced by 10%. So if you do the calculations, there's still a 5% increase. What do you think about it?
Well, it's not a bad idea because when the lockdown started, I think the fuel prices were reduced and the drivers were restricted to take the full capacity of the car. So it was reasonable. Then the fuel prices went up and they increased the fares. Now they are asking them to take the full capacity and they are reducing the fares by 10%. I think it's a fair deal.
I think that's in the good direction because the price of transport fare is too high and it's affecting us a lot. So if 10% reduction, I think it's welcomed and we'll all enjoy it.
But the drivers also complain that during the lockdown period of the restrictions, they lost a lot.
I mean, I don't think that is an issue because it's a business and there are risks in every business you take. So nobody sent them. If you want to work, you have to know that there's risks in it, and everybody takes a risk. You can take a risk and you lose.
Also, why do you ensure what transport fare?
Anya because say no matum e bi ni say nya me 100,000 no mo je anya pra ana free ha no patrol no matum kra na fa no mo je na nya na say o ba fa fo
abaya hye say if you me there be o mo nte so 10%.
O mo te so kra do ba fo no mo nte so de o ma kan no ma kan no ano mo ba je to o mo te so kra na o mo nte so sa no mo ba je say de ba ya fa on say esa so na mo fa tretre na I'm for 33. I saw 444 no musisi yai.
What do you make of the 10% reduction effective August 1?
It's just a hearing say, but if it's going to work there, then that's fine. Yeah, that's all I want to say.
But what do you make of the current fares?
The current fare, let's speak the truth. You see, the drivers and the mates, what they are doing is not fair. You see, you were crying that they should increase the fare for you because they've reduced the passengers that you're supposed to take. Fine, they've increased it. Now, the normal is back. You have to reduce the fare too. So I believe, we should be fair to ourselves. That's all.